have poured into developing their own AI models. All right, let's break it down. I want to bring in Brian Chung. Talk to me talk to me like I'm me, and you know me, right? I'm so interested in this, but explain it in super plain English here, because it was so interesting to see the stock market react to Deepseek here. By the way, a phrase that we're all going to be talking about a lot when it comes to the idea of Chinese cheap AI. How big of a deal is this? It feels like everybody in your world is talking about it.
Yeah, absolutely. And, just to kind of underscore exactly what we're talking about here in plain English, what this does, what Deepseek does, is that you can just have a conversation with it, like ChatGPT. Ask it what's the coolest pair of sneakers that I can go buy on the street. Ask it if it thinks the Philadelphia Eagles are going to beat the Kansas City Chiefs in the Super Bowl.
You don't have to ask.
Generate
you don't have to ask.
You don't have to ask. Yeah, go Birds or whatever. But look, either way, it's going to tell you based off of the data, based off the internet, what it thinks the answer to that question is. So this exists already, right? So then what's the big deal? Well, the big deal is that it can do it so much more cheaply than the other companies. As you mentioned, $5.6 million. Again, M, not with a B. A lot of companies in the United States have been spending billions. That's a big reason why we saw NVIDIA shares plummet. Again, that's the chip company that makes a lot of the servers that fuel a lot of these things. Well, if you can do it so much cheaply as the Chinese do, then maybe you don't need 9 billion, little microchips to do it. So that's the reason why you saw that market cap get erased from that stock in such a dramatic fashion today. NVIDIA stock down 17% just to start off this week. Certainly not the way Jensen Huang, the CEO, certainly wanted to see it happen on Monday.
What's the secret sauce for Deepseek here? They've only been around about a year. They've already had this big breakthrough. What makes them such a threat?
Well, what makes them such a big threat are two things. Again, first, that they've been able to do this at a cheaper scale than American companies have been able to do so. That means that for every marginal dollar they put into their investment, in theory, they could be accelerating their AI at a faster rate than the United States. But then the other part of it is that it is a Chinese company. What makes Deepseek so remarkable is that, yes, it's very young. It's existed in China for some time. It was only available for download on the U.S. app stores as of December. But what's so remarkable about that is that, again, we just had this TikTok debate in the United States. Could the American government try to go after this app as well? We've already heard some rumblings and lawmakers in D.C. saying that they have a lot of concerns about this.
There's also the interesting dynamic here, because Deepseek has gotten here even with some of these restrictions on AI computer chips that were put in place by the U.S. to prevent rivals like China from being able to sort of make the advancements that they have. Is there any sense that you're getting that the U.S. that experts are urging the U.S. to rethink the strategy on that front?
Yeah, and the rethink already kind of preceded the developments that we've seen on this Deepseek app. For what it's worth, we did hear NVIDIA at the end of last year actually call on its suppliers and other companies that distribute its hardware to double check and make sure that the people buying them are not countries that are not allowed to do so, according to the U.S. Commerce Department. But again, there's a turn of administration. Does the Trump administration tighten the screws on that? We'll have to see. But again, we saw what the U.S. government did with TikTok and how much of a mess that was. You can imagine it might be the same issue if it comes to this AI as well.
Brian Chung, thank you very much. Appreciate it.